what's good, Commanders fans? So the videos I'm going to show is shout out to Scott Abraham from ABC4, NBC4, the reporter, and he posted a couple of videos of Marshon Lattimore. The video that I'm showing in the beginning is of Marshon 5 days ago when the trade did happen, and we got him. Was it 5 days ago? Today's Wednesday. We got him we got him Tuesday, and I think he showed up on practice Thursday. So yes, the video I'm showing is about 5-6 days ago where he was at practice. And I thought he looked a little gimpy. And looking at the video, honestly, he's just walking up and dapping guys up. So I'm not going to overanalyze. I know we're looking at this very, very closely because you can make an argument to say that Marshon Lattimore playing or not, really, our season can depend on it. Like, we can beat the Cowboys. We can sweep the Cowboys easily with or without Marshon. We can beat the Titans without Marshon. I feel like the Falcons were going to need him against Drake London and Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, guys like that. Eagles once we play them again. But, I mean, you can legitimately make an argument that the season really depends on this trade. And it really depends on Marshon Lattimore. I know the offense is going to do their job, but, you know, Ben St-Juste, I hate to rag on him all the time, but him matched up against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, those receivers of that caliber, you know, we could easily get bounced in the first round. We could easily get bounced in the first round and end up with 11 wins instead of being on pace to 12 to 13 wins. It could easily change like that, you know, with not having cornerback help. And the next video shows him stretching and whatnot today. I thought he looked okay stretching, but I don't want to overanalyze. And he was ruled out. He was ruled out. So Dan Quinn announced that he's going to officially be out tomorrow night against the Eagles, which I think is the right decision. You don't want to rush him back. You saw Dan Quinn and Marshon having a long talk, a long walk down the field in Ashburn yesterday and talking it out. And clearly he can't go. And personally, I would not be surprised. Don't want to speak this into existence. I would not be surprised if he did not play in Dallas or against Dallas at home in Northwest Stadium in Landover on Sunday next week. I wouldn't be surprised. But once again, I feel like he's not really 100% needed because it's Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. It is what it is on that. I'll just be honest. I don't want to underestimate Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, but, I mean, we should really blow them out. We should beat them by 25 points, being honest, at home especially. But, yeah, he's going to be out. But you got to think about this in the long term. I get it. I saw some comments yesterday about we traded for damaged goods and stuff like that. I disagree with that. I think if he is ready for – even after the bye week, like let's be prepared for him to not to be back for the Titans game, which I think Dallas and Tennessee, we should handle those guys without Marshon. He's back for the Saints. I don't think he's going to miss that Saints game after the bye week, especially in New Orleans. I think he's going to do everything in his power. Not saying that he's not today or tomorrow, but I think he's going to be ready and prepared for that New Orleans Saints game. He's going to be ready for that game. And their wide receiver number one at this point is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who had a darn good game last week on Sunday. So I do believe no later than December 15th against the Saints. But I'm just warning you guys, be prepared if he does not play against Dallas. And also if he doesn't play against Tennessee. Hamstring injuries are very, very, very tricky. They're very tricky. You just don't know with hamstrings at times. I mean, it's a tricky injury. We see wide receivers go through it a lot, especially a corner that's got to flip his hips, run down the field, backpedal, change directions against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We want him to be out there 110%. We don't want him hampering it. I remember, was it D'Angelo? No, I think it was Clinton Dix. Somebody went out against Dallas on Thanksgiving, was getting cooked by Mark Cooper. It was years ago, but they just weren't 100%. And you could tell, like they were forcing it. They couldn't move. They couldn't flip the hips. It might have been Bashad Brown. I can't remember who it was, but it was that game on things that Mark Cooper went crazy for like 100-something yards. And if Marshon goes out there and forces it, then that potentially could happen. We just don't want to see that. So, yes, it is disappointing for him because this is the matchup that we've been looking for. But guess what? We play the Eagles again on December 22nd at home, where I definitely think he will be ready for that game. That's going to be a huge, huge game for the NFC East crown. That's going to be the NFC East championship game basically right there. Sunday, December 22nd at home. And we got to get at least one. And I see some people waving the white flag about tomorrow night. I'm not waving the white flag. I still think we can win without Marshon. I still think we have a legitimate shot of winning tomorrow night. I really do. I think we have a legitimate shot. I'm going to talk about it more in my preview video, but the Eagles, they haven't beat a lot of good teams. And I hate doing that because people can say the same thing about us. But The last couple of weeks they played against the Giants, the Browns, and who else? I can't remember who else they beat, but they beat some inferior. The Giants and Browns are some inferior teams that their defensive numbers are inflated because they haven't really played against a good competition other than the Bengals, and the Bengals didn't even have T. Higgins in that game. But yeah, we have Marshon under contract for the next 2 years, 2025 and 2026. And I think if he's ready for the Saints game and 100% for that after the bye week and ready for the playoffs, you're ready to make a playoff run, then I think it is a good investment. It's a good investment. You still have a third round pick. We gave up a third. We still have a third round pick from the Eagles for Jahan Dotson, who we're going to play against tomorrow. We're going to play against Jahan. And you still have 7 picks in a draft. You still have 7 picks. So I'm not tripping over what's going on right now with Marshon. You got to be patient and ready for the long run because we're ready to make a deep playoff run. And we're going to need Marshon for that. We are. And this season kind of, I hate to say it, but it does. A huge part of it, I would say about 45% of the season depends on Marshon Lattimore. Not the season. We're going to make the playoffs, but actually making the playoffs, actually doing something in the playoffs, I feel like you could easily say 45, 50, maybe even more than that. Depends on Marshon Lattimore and his hamstring. But he will be out tomorrow, against the Philadelphia Eagles. Dan Quinn did say Brian Robinson showed good sign today to be ready versus Philly, so that's really good news. He usually does a good job against the Philadelphia Eagles. I remember Monday Night Football 2 years ago. He had a good game. He had the touchdown where he was just carrying guys over the goal line. So we definitely need him. He adds a different element to the run game that we need, especially against a physical team like the Eagles. We're going to need it. We're going to need him bad. So him and Eckler can go back to his right spot where he's more of a lightning back, coming out the backfield, catching the ball, home run hitting, doing stuff like that. Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, we'll see who gets suited up between those two guys. But B-Rob being back is going to be huge. Also, the Browns, they signed Chiggy Anusum off of the practice squad. So they took away the highly touted undrafted free agent Chiggy Anusum, who was an athletic freak. And it's so funny because the Browns, they took our corner. Everybody was like, oh, let's trade for Denzel Ward. Let's trade for Greg Newsome, which I know is apples to oranges a little bit because, Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward were not available. But the Browns ended up taking one of our corners on the practice squad. And it's not like Chiggy was going to change the game or anything like that or make a crazy impact. But we saw the talent and the potential in him. So it is unfortunate to see another team take him away, especially when you just don't know. We need as many corners we can get out there, especially at this point in the season. Dan Quinn also said both Andrew Wiley and Cornelius Lucas both got good work yesterday and looked good today. So that's good on that part. Brandon Coleman's been holding it down anyway. So if Lucas is not ready to go, I think we'll be fine with Brandon Coleman. Andrew Wiley, if he's ready to go, that would be a plus. Trent Scott was solid at times against the Steelers, but it would be good to have Andrew Wiley out there. And, last year we wouldn't be like, oh, man, we need Andrew Wiley back. Excuse me, but Andrew Wiley coming back is going to help because he's had a darn good season so far this year. Let's see who else. Austin Seibert did not participate in practice. He was on the sideline. So be ready for Zane Gonzalez tomorrow night. And he did a good job, so I think we'll be fine with Zane Gonzalez tomorrow night. We made a 48-yard kick yesterday or on Sunday, so I think we'll be fine with him out there. And I think that's about it. Team captain Zach Ertz coming back to Philly. This will be Zach Ertz's first time playing against the Eagles in Philly or playing against the Eagles at all. I was surprised he was named captain after that awful drop that he had last week, but I'm not going to base his whole season on a terrible drop that he had. But that drop against the Steelers was just awful. It was one of the worst drops I've ever seen in my life. On that second 11. But no, Zach Ertz has had a good season so far. Mike Sainristil and Jeremy McNichols. Mike Sainristil has been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks, so that's good to see. Jeremy McNichols got a touchdown against the Steelers as well. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Like I said, be patient with Marshon. I know some of the comments, looking at some of the comments from my video yesterday, somebody said Marshon is Davis Goods with a gimpy hamstring were cooked. Could have saved those picks for a young stud corner out of the draft. I disagree. I think, honestly, in the third round, I don't think you're gonna get a player as talented as Marshon Lattimore, a proven commodity and a proven player, a proven shutdown corner. It's very hard to find that in the third round. So I do think it's worth it to give up a third round. You gave up a third, a fourth, and a sixth, and you got back a fifth, and you got Marshon on a favorable deal. And this year, you look at the money is $605,000 guaranteed for this year. So I think it's worth it, especially when you are in a not gonna say win now mode, but yeah, we are. We're in a win now mode because you know the trajectory of the team has sped up. It's speeded up. The calibration has speeded up because of Jaden Daniels, the coaching staff, and the way that Jaden has played, and the guys around him. He's just made people better. So I do disagree with that comment for sure. So, but you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, let's get ready for Philly, man. I still think we can win this game with or without Marshon. I know it's gonna be an uphill battle, but I think we can move the football. I know we can move the football on them. We can move the football on anybody's defense. We move the football on the Steelers' defense, who's a good defense on Sunday. So I think we will be fine. But yes, we could see an AJ Brown 150-yard game tomorrow. I would not be surprised by that at all. I mean, who could sit up here and say they would be surprised by that? But all right, you guys, as always, let's keep the positive vibes and energy for the game tomorrow. Jaden Daniels looked in good spirits. He was moving around, flying around in practice, so that was awesome to see. So you guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Hell's Commanders. Peace.